Hi, I'm John from Just Whisky. If you like today's show, please give it the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And remember, no matter how good it is or how much it costs, it's just whiskey, folks. And thanks for all the new subscribers and all the comments. I respond to them all, and the channel is slowly growing in the thumbs up direction. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new release from Torabhaig from the Isle of Skye, and this is pronounced Allt Gleann, but the brand ambassador did say it's fine to call it Allt Gleann, but it's in Gaelic it's pronounced Allt Gleann. Just rolls right off the tongue. Their parent company is Mossburn, who mostly do blends. Torabhaig, it's NAS, non-age stated. It's a little over 3 years old, but probably not much more than that. Natural presentation, 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, non-coloring. You can pick it up in my area for around $60. I absolutely love this dram. Some cool information. This is a heavily peated Scotch, and they're extremely transparent. Made with a mix of Concerto and Laureate malted barley at 77 ppm. But then they also tell you what the residual ppm is after distillation, which is 17 ppm. And they use predominantly first fill bourbon and refill whiskey barrels. So there is no sherry in the first release, which I've previously reviewed, which I will try to put a link in the description for that, as well as a link to a great conversation with Bikram, the owner of Norfolk Wine and Spirits, with the global brand ambassador named Bruce Perry. And it's about a 39-minute video, and they really get into the guts of what's going on with Torabhaig. And I'm going to be summarizing that. So Allt Gleann translates to Valley Brook. So they get their water on site. This part, they have a legacy series. So their first inaugural release is one and done. But with this Allt Gleann, they are going to be releasing 6 more batches of the Allt Gleann into the year 2024. So this is going to be an extended run. It's not going to be batch to batch. It's the same recipe. And they said, there could be they don't expect it, but there could be a slight up to 10% maybe age increase from the next 6 batches of this. So if you miss out on this first round of the Allt Gleann, there's going to be 6 more before into mid 2024. And then what they're going to do is they're going to release the legacy number 3 series, and that's going to be called Croque-Pneumonia. And they are going to experiment with a little bit of sherry. They want to be very careful that they don't mess up the original DNA. They really want the clean, bright, floral recipe that they have here to be the main show. So it could end up being just 5%, ex-sherry barrels, but they haven't. They're going to experiment with it, and they want to make sure they do it right. And then, so that's going to tentatively, Legacy 3 series will be released sometime probably in mid to late 2024. And then the Legacy 4 series will be released in 2026, and that's going to be called Allt Gleann. And that's going to be finished in Madeira casks. And then their ultimate journey will lead them to the 10-year-old, which is anticipated to be released in 2028. So I found that very interesting, and if you go to that video that I will have a link to, they will talk in depth about that. Torabhaig uses copper stills, and they have very slow fermentation and very slow distillation to remove any off sulfur compounds. And another cool thing, I think Anach is very transparent on the residual ppms. So what Torabhaig, the challenge is, when they finish a release, they have to send a sample to the lab to find out exactly what the residual ppm is. So they actually delay their labeling to make sure that they have that in there. So they are very patient and detailed with their transparency. And they use washbacks, and their washbacks are made out of Canadian Douglas fir wood, which supposedly is one of, if not the hardest softwood, if that makes sense to you. All right, we've got the history lessons out of the way. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I just opened this yesterday, and right out of the gate, this wowed me. The neck pour, oh my God. The nose it's peaty and smoky, but it's not smoky like a Lagavulin or a Laphroaig. The smoke and peat is more closer to what an Ardbeg 10 might have, or a Kalila. So on the nose, you get the smoky, peaty, bright, vegetal, fruit stripe gum, fruity gum, a little bit of that candy cigarette, chalky thing. You can tell right away it's very floral and perfumey as well, and clean and bright. A nice, rounded, pleasing mouth coating feel to this. And you're picking up the fruitiness, the melon, the little bit of pineapple. Then towards the finish, a little bit of mint kicks into the palate. And then it slowly finishes with a little oak spice, brininess. It is sweet, but it finishes on a dry note, a little bit of a puckering note. The finish is medium to long. Again, this is a young whiskey. Retails for $60. It's a little over 3 years old, not much more. But it just, you're not getting any acetone. You're not getting any off notes. They really know what they're doing. They take the time and put in a lot of care and effort and TLC. It shows. I am very impressed by this. I did review the Legacy inaugural release. I like this better. The inaugural release, easy for me to say, inaugural release was impressive, but the youthfulness did shine through on that, whereas this just feels like it's got more maturity and more subtlety, and just it's more well-rounded. Okay, how am I going to score this? I'm scoring this for my enjoyment. I've already ordered a backup bottle of this, and I can already tell this is going to be a go-to dram for me. Possibly even a contender for my whiskey of the year. I'm going to give it a high score. For my enjoyment, I'm going to give this a 90. No range here. A solid 90 for me. I cannot find anything wrong with it at all. Very, very, very enjoyable. So that sums it up. If you liked today's show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And until Christmas, I'm going to be doing, not every day, but way more frequent reviews. If you're looking for an advent calendar, that's not me, but I highly recommend checking out Whiskey Lock's advent calendar. He does a fantastic job, and he's a pleasure to watch. And he's on tomorrow. By the time you see this, he'll be on day 4 of his advent calendar. So again, thank you so much, and happy holidays, and Merry Christmas, and hats off to you all, and take care. Ho, ho, ho.